Ooh. Ooh. Hello, hello. Welcome
Happy
to
Tuesday.
another installment of What's Really Going On in America.
Happy
And
Tuesday.
happy Tuesday it is. And boy, oh boy, we are going. Now, I want to finally make my announcement of something I did this week. Yes, that early
Yeah,
already, Monday.
you've teased me, but you have not said what it was yet. So I'm learning this just as you guys are.
So I have switched my political party officially to the Constitution Party. And before you get mad at me, I want to take you down through all the political flaws through from Democrat, Republicans, as like Speaker Mike Johnson's a clear example of it.
Don't get me started
Um,
right now.
Yep. The Green Party, the some most Libertarian Party. I'm still learning, but ultimately we'll get to the Constitution Party. So, with that in mind, let's go through the D. Now we all know they're wrecking this country left and right. They're doing all the work that they're taxing us to death. They're sending all of our money and resources throughout the nations. And for what? So they can make themselves more money through money laundering schemes. And and then they push abortions. Why do they push abortions? Because they make money off of it. And not only that, but we all know that more than 80% of the clinics are in neighborhoods like downtown Allentown, like I'm at. So why not make money while making while eliminating the minority groups? But according to the leftists, they're not racist or anything. That's just contradictory.
Well,
What are your
we're not gonna get involved with how Planned Parenthood started and who started it. Margaret Sanger, who was, well, I don't know, racist. Because it got to the point where we can't just go out there and eliminate people we don't like, but if you make them do it on their own and make them feel like it's their choice and it's their right to do so, they are righteous people because it's their body and their choice for wiping out their group of people. And quite frankly, because we all know that the big D on the screen stands for redacted, 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 very, very horrible things. Use your imagination, folks. I work in a mechanic shop, so I got dark humor, but just what does the D stand for? And the Democratic Party definitely uses that to their advantage. Why would you want to kill people? Why would you want less people on this earth? Because honestly, you want people paying taxes, and you want to just tax, 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 tax. More
Eh,
people means more taxes. I don't know. It just sounds like a really bad business idea in my mind. It's kind of like how like tobacco companies, do nothing to stop killing the people who buy their product. But you know what? I'm dumb. I went to high school and I didn't go to college, and I have a bunch of debt that I'm waiting for somebody to pay off for me.
well, and it's funny that you say kill people because the leftist always talks about the killing of kids in the schools, but yet they do it but the Democrats like women to kill the children in the womb. And see, it's not about um the kids at all. It's about having a generation to which they can totally control, to have the least amount of people in the nation that they can control, and that will not push back on the government, kind of like in China, where communist China, socialist Venezuela, which of course they have a new president and apparently is doing better than before,
Um,
thankfully.
yeah, he's actually he's like a young Ron Paul, um, with no leash. That it it is glorious watching this man just go in there. He is the Ron Swanson meme with the slash it, slash it. He's just like cutting everything. Oh, guess what? They're doing very well financially as a nation. Inflation has hit a almost all-time low. And guess what? Nobody is dying. The country's not collapsing. He just went in there and said, no, we're just going to trim the fat. And yeah, he's a little crazy. But you know what? I mean, I think you and I are a little crazy in our own way. And I think we could use a little bit of crazy utilized for the greater good.
Yeah, and you know what? Being a little crazy in the right way will keep us, give us a sense of humor to get through everything we're going through. Uh, because you know what? It's like the 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 Democrats do drive me crazy with the hypocritical thinking. It's always they say they're for the constitutional rights, but they want to take away our gun rights. They want to take away our livelihoods, and it's clear on that. And people will, and the leftists will end up blaming Republicans for a lot of things. And well, let's talk about them now. Eh, Now, if you're a Republican, just know, and I'm making a disclaimer, I'm not fighting against you, but I'm fighting against who you call rhinos in this, like Speaker Mike Johnson, um, and many more that just do nothing. Like when
Get through the Johnson thing quick, because I'm going to use my F word pass very, very early on tonight. Not a fan of him right now. Not a fan of him right now. He is a gigantic turd.
Oh, yes, but don't insult Cathood like that, though.
I don't have to insult Cat Turd. I have House Lion here, and I will bring them all, and House Lion will, well, he's hungry all the time.
But I've been looking into the Republican Party for as long as the Democrats within the two-party system, and it says here, "Save America, vote Republican," and it seems like to me they do bare minimum. And plus, if we're gonna be honest, Bush and Obama are friends. Um,
They're all
and
friends.
And you know what? Our gas prices was the number one highest before Biden came into office. So that should tell us all what we need to know. and plus, and and plus, they very, very rarely do you ever hear the word impeachment from any of the Republicans that know that many of the Democrats need to get out of office. And that's just and that's just sad. I mean,
I
we take
I
no
think I would be more proud of the Republicans right now if they actually banded together and impeached Mike Johnson, because
exactly.
that is showing that you actually care, because that man is a Democrat with an R behind his name. He really is. Watching the people who he's supporting in midterm or not midterms, primaries, and it's not for the interest of the country. It's not for the interest of the districts that these people are representing. I'm not a fan. He also pushed through funding of Ukraine, but yet just shit the bed when it comes to funding our own border and our own security and our own people. Because I have no problem taking a surplus money and helping other people, but you cannot. Like, if I got up right now, I'll get off my couch, walk out the door right over there, over to my neighbor's house, and I make sure that they're fed, they have clothing, that they have gas in their car. Meanwhile, I'm broke as shit. My house is falling apart. What does that make me? Oh, I can feel good about living a crappy life and, not taking care of the people who I consider family who live under the same roof as me. No, 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 no. Guys, it's okay. I gave all my money to the neighbor. He's living a fantastic life. It's amazing. You should go over there and see it. But we don't have heat. Yeah, but the neighbor does. He's got air conditioning, a pool. He just bought wheels for his car. It's great. You should see it. That is why I have such a problem with what we're doing, and we try to act like we're so different, especially in the two-party system. I mean, I know you're going to get into the other parties, and you just all you're doing is trying to educate us. But until those parties gain some traction, we are kind of stuck with two of them, kind of like right behind me right now. Which one's going to shoot me? Probably both. You know why? Because I hate them both. I think they
Well,
have both.
you know what? They work for the Democrats, and then the Republicans get paid by the Democrats. So then they think, "Oh, I'm getting money, so maybe I should compromise my values to appease the Democrats so I can continue getting paid." That's what it comes down to.
I
And,
mean,
and, and it like abortions. Republicans used to be totally against abortions, totally against it, but now we have many who will sacrifice those values to make exceptions, rape, incest, or life of the mother. Yeah, now people could argue that, but isn't there such a thing as a C-section for life of the mother?
I mean, granted, every case is different. I'm not a doctor. I fix cars for a living. So in the grand scheme of things, people are going to call me a moron. And I'm perfectly okay with that because I'm, happy. Um, from a marketing standpoint, no exceptions is bad for marketing. And you're never going to win over a middle ground person with that stance. That's just my personal opinion. As far as, what is life, you and I agree 100%. That's something that's just my personal opinion. Again, okay, so we're on abortion. I'm going to use the example. Bill Burr, a fantastic comedian, talking about abortion. He makes his cake mix. It's in the pan. He's ready to put it in the oven. Somebody comes along, smashes it out of his hand. It's all over the floor. And he says,
So
you
Morty,
ruined my cake. He goes, yeah, well, it would have been a cake in 40 minutes.
well, we actually have our first comment. Morty F1 says he's voting. Who you voting for, Morty?
I mean,
if you're still on, who you voting for? Let us know in the comments.
I mean, honestly, my thing is, go vote. I don't care what your beliefs are. I want you to vote. I feel your voice needs to be heard. And quite frankly, I want a lot of the people who've never voted. I want you to go out there and voice your opinions. I mean, I really hope it's an educated opinion, but, go vote. Get involved. One of the things that I can give Donald Trump the most amount of praise for is he got a lot of people who had zero interest in politics, never voted, never paid any attention to like what's going on outside of, their tiny little life, is he got them involved. And I can also criticize him for the same thing. Because obviously there's been a rapid decline, especially if you do anything on the internet. Can't post anything without somebody blaming Donald Trump or Joe Biden for something. Like, Cat gets elected mayor. Damn Democrats. Well, is the cat a Republican or a Democrat? Like, why are we blaming? No, he's part of the feline. He's part of the feline party. He wants freaking cat treats for everybody, and he just wants to lay in his office all day and get scrooches. Like, well, you know what? He's not going to go out there and hurt anybody. So I'll tell you what. If somebody wrote in a cat for president, I would, as long as it's cute and bites people, I would be okay with that. And also, you have to realize that would be glorious for like world relations. Like, these crazy sons of bitches voted a freaking cat to be their president. Like, do you imagine my Savannah just like chilling on the desk in the Oval Office? It's like, yeah, feed me. and like what? It's just like his big ass paw like hovering over the red button. I think that would be glorious. Honestly, I think that would be better than voting for Ronald Reagan, even though he's been dead for how many years.
And to the audience, feel free to let us know who you would vote for in the comments. And so it seems like Joe Biden is going to be a Democrat nominee for the 2024 because they want to have someone they can semi-control. And Trump looks like he's
semi-control. Have you seen Weekend at Bernie's?
yeah, he's practically dead.
The guy's a mixture between that movie and the thing that runs around my kitchen while I'm at work vacuuming the floor.
Yep, and it seems like Donald Trump's going to win, of course, the Republican. And you know what? For Donald Trump, he has an independent mind. Like, he doesn't bow down to a political party. He bows down to the people. And that's what we love about him. And now he doesn't always do the right thing all the time or say the right thing and all that. But I have respect for him because he's not brainwashed to a political party. And I think most of the Republicans hate Trump because of who he is. And he won't bow down to them. And that's why most of them won't help him through everything he's going through.
Look, we can all sit here and criticize any political candidate. And I think it's only fair because we do trash the Democrats a lot. We can talk smack on Donald Trump, lifelong Democrat, hung out with the Clintons. I think he even paid to have the Clintons at his wedding to Melania. I'm pretty sure that was a thing. But the bump stock ban, like, there's a whole lot of things. But guess what? He's not a politician. He has not been catering every decision he made to holding political office. I truly feel that the man was just perfectly content being who he was. He was Donald freaking Trump. And he was like, he was the person that everybody would associate wealth to. It was never, oh, I have that Bill Gates money. No, it was always, I got that Donald Trump money. I listen to a lot of rap music. I'm sorry. But
it's okay.
Until he ran for office, everybody loved him. And the minute he said, I'm running for office, all of a sudden he's a piece of crap. But at the end of the day, again, we've talked about it in previous podcasts. I was like, you guys are idiots. What have you done? Then he gets elected. And then things start happening. And I have to give credit where it's due. He did a lot of good for us as a nation. He did a lot of good for people who did not vote for him, who did not support him. He didn't care. He truly wanted to make the country better and run it like a business, because I can't just be like, I want this new car. I'm boss, I need more money. I can't do that. You can't do that. People are suffering. People are legitimately suffering. I have people promising to do things for those people, but guess what happens? Nothing. Not a
Ooh,
damn thing.
okay. Well, we actually got an answer from Marty. He
Oh,
says he's voting for Selker, Selker. That's awesome. Can you tell me what political party he is, or if he's running as an independent? Because I actually didn't hear of him. So, and
I'm
speaking of,
I'm on the Google right now.
yep. So let's go. Now I want to talk about the Green Party here. Now I'm looking at the website, and it pretty much looks like I'm going. So let's look at the 10 key values. Grassroots democracy, social justice and equal opportunity, ecological wisdom, which means human societies must function with the understanding that we are a part of nature, not separate from nature. We must maintain an ecological balance and live within the ecological and resource limits of our communities and our planet. So it sounds like more green crap. Um,
They get a bad rap
non-violence.
just because of their name. They're just like, we want to be in power and do nothing.
Yep.
And
Decentralizing.
I'm quite okay with politicians getting elected and doing nothing if that's their stance on things. Like, you're not going to hurt anything doing nothing.
Well, I'm on number 5, which is decentralizing of wealth and power contributes to social and economical injustice, environmental destruction, and militarization. We seek a reconstruction of social, political, and economic institutions away from a system controlled by and mostly benefiting the powerful few to a democratic and less bureaucracy system. Number 6, community-based economics. We support redesigning our work structures to encourage employee ownership and workplace democracy. Let's stop there. Feminism and gender equality for number 7. 8, respect for diversity. We believe that it is important to value cultural, ethnic, racial, sexual, religious, and spiritual diversity and to promote the development of respectful relationships across the human spectrum. Number 9, personal and global responsibility. We encourage individuals to act to improve their personal well being at the same time to enhance ecological balance and social harmony. And 10, future focus and sustainability. Our actions and policies will be motivated by long term goals. We seek to protect valuable natural resources, safely disposing of or unmaking all waste we create. Now, to me, that sounds a little bit like Democrats, Republicans, and Libertarians combined into one major thing.
I
What do you
mean,
think?
before libertarians, I mean, the Green Party was like that middle ground. I see a slight bias to the left, I do feel that we could do better as people, create less waste, less plastic. Guess what I don't use? Plastic bottles. Um, my coffee mug, stainless steel. Never gonna need a new one ever again. My drink of choice, aluminum can. Got a recycle bin. Uh, I do not drink bottled water. I refuse to, unless it's absolutely necessary. I put a filter in my house. I'll drink tap water. I mean, I know, Quinn, I know you got to think against tap water. Hold up, I'm on a well.
Well, hey, I wouldn't be surprised if the government comes and poisons that well someday. But
Well,
until then, you have it nice. And I do myself have a filter in my home, so I'm drinking water that I don't have to go out and buy in these.
yep.
Yeah, although I like to have one these, up in my room so I can, have some, don't have to go downstairs and drink them. And besides, instead of going to the gym for $20 a month or more, it makes good weightlifting.
See, there you go. You're finding a positive in some place that should not be a positive, and that's another thing. We're all looking for somebody to cater to us. They're not going to legitimately. Nobody running for any form of office is actually going to give you what you want. That's the one thing we all need to understand. They're going to tell you what they feel you want to hear, and they're going to shake your hand. They're going to look you in the eye, and they're going to freaking lie to you.
Exactly.
Very, very, very rarely is a politician going to win that seat and actually uphold what they were claiming to do. Again, if I had a hat right now, I would tip it to to the crazy orange man from Florida because, well, Quinn, I don't know how long you've been paying attention to politics, but he was the first person to actually get to Washington and do what was promised, or at least make an attempt. Because obviously, can't have this guy. He's an outsider. He's not part of our club. He's not allowed to do anything that looks good because that makes us look bad. And then it's like, wait, hold on, he was a Democrat. Yeah, well, guess what? If I lived in Allentown, I'd run as a Democrat because you know what? I want to win, and that's what's going to happen. My views, they're all over the place. I can literally cater to probably every single party in some degree that we're going to talk about tonight. But, everybody wants to be focused in like, nope, this is my party. This is what I believe. This is all I believe. Nothing else. Everybody else is wrong. Even when we agree.
Well, you know what? And for the Green Party, I'm still trying to, see who's a presidential candidate, if they even have one. But until then, yeah, I think so too. But until then, I'm just going to, have to continue doing the research and all. So now that I said it, let's go to the Libertarian Party because they're like the big government should not exist. We should take away the Fed. That's the famous one. They want to get rid of all the Department ofs, which is definitely a big need. Basically, they want to go back to a very small government. So the money comes back to us, the people, and so we have the power again. But in the presidential candidate is Lars Mapstead, and he says all the right things, but there's two things I don't agree with him with. One would be, you may disagree with this one, but that's okay. But let me know. He says to end the war on drugs, we should just make them all legal. What do you think of that?
Well, I'll tell you what. If they made heroin legal, I would go do it tomorrow. No, I'm kidding. We're adults. We're all adults. If heroin became legal tomorrow, obviously we're going to talk about heroin because that's it's a pretty shitty drug. You're not going to go do it just because it's legal. I'm not going to go do it because it's legal. I won't take a freaking Tylenol and legalize it, tax it, use it to, use the tax money from the taxation of heroin to, I don't know, get people off of it. If you want to tax things people want. Because guess what? Heroin, illegal. Marijuana, illegal. Cocaine, illegal. Pills, illegal. People are still buying it. They don't care that it's illegal. They're going to risk their literal lives to do this. Tax the shit out of them. Then use the tax money to get people off of it. The problem will literally solve itself. And if we're really, especially from a libertarian standpoint, if we're really truly pro freedom, if somebody wants to go out there, stick a needle in their arm and kill themselves, I'm sorry, who am I to stop them? Because what are they really contributing to society at that point? But are we really, and with it being illegal, what are we offering these people? Oh, you got caught with this? We're going to ruin your life. Well, why don't I just do the drugs and not get caught, and I could ruin my own life and not get the taxpayer involved? Jailing people is not solving the problem. And addiction is a true disease. I mean, some people will say I'm addicted to beer. I just don't like anything else. I'd rather drink beer than soda. It's technically healthier for me. Shocking. But banning it, it's no different than what we did when we banned alcohol. How are we as citizens supposed to look at what that debacle was and not think that possibly our government is spiking these drugs to raise the death rates so then we can go out and go, ooh, drugs scary. We literally had this conversation today at work. Like, just legalize it. People are not going to go do drugs just because they're legal. It's not going to happen. My parents are they were hippies, dude. Like, they were straight up hippies. My mom I had that talk, as, early teenager. Look, you're going to experience some things in life. People are going to offer you some things. Well, let me give you some advice. Marijuana is pretty cool. I don't say you should do it, but if you're going to do drugs, that's probably where you should cut the limit. Cocaine. If you're really drunk, it'll sober you up, but I don't recommend it because it's laced with other crap. And this is from somebody who dealt with drugs in the 70s. They had this problem way back then. And guess what happened? I grew up and I didn't do drugs. Nobody told me I couldn't. Nobody put it in a perspective that made it seem like, ooh, this sounds like a really good idea. Now, I'm actually very pro marijuana. That's a hill I will die on. It's a plant. It serves a purpose. My cousin does research for it for medical companies because guess what they're trying to do in the pharmaceutical field? Mimic the effects of THC for medical purposes. Because if I can go out in my backyard with a freaking terracotta pot and a watering can and grow my medicine, guess who I don't need anymore? Big Pharma. But I lose track. I don't know if we're like cool with big pharmaceutical right now or if we're hating big pharmaceutical right now. Because, I remember during a certain time, during a certain year, with a certain virus, big pharma was the savior. I mean, that was the second coming of Jesus to the world because thank you, big pharma, for taking all of these billions and billions and billions of my freaking tax dollars to save me from something that would have never fucking killed me to begin with. Oh, damn it, I used my F word pass. But I'll tell you what, it was totally worth it, especially, talking about the coup.
Well, and then the other thing about him that I don't agree with is he says he supports abortion like like a Democrat, like kind of like a Democrat, just have your abortion. We'll just leave you alone. And that to me, takes away someone's right to life. Um,
But
due to,
I mean, I again,
eh,
it goes
eh,
back to that leave me alone, I'll leave you alone kind of standpoint. Yeah, it's a very middle ground kind of, just kind of blah statement, but at the same time, I'm not saying I'm going to pay for it, but I'm also not going to tell you you can't do it. I'm not going to force you to do it. So
and
it's again, it's everything's a gray area. Remember, we've talked about this, especially this topic. It's a complex problem that involves a complex conversation to come up with a complex solution because
well,
I don't agree with it. I really don't agree with the fact that you can just go out there, take a pill because you know what? You decided to get a little loose last night. But I'm also not going to criticize the person for going out and having what they would consider a good night. For
I'll
me, like
show you.
I come home, I blare 90s country music with my cat in my lap, drink a bunch of beer. Occasionally I'll put on my cowboy hat and dance around in my kitchen because you know what? That brings me joy. And I'll tell you what, if somebody told me I couldn't do that anymore, well, we're going to learn about the Second Amendment tonight, boys, because my cat's about to get a whole bunch of food. And how quickly can I get a freezer here?
Well, you know what? I'll show you a person that's also libertarian who disagrees with laws, and if she was president, she would not go with the abortion.
Oh, yo,
Right here,
no. And that's the thing.
and
I
everyone,
feel the government should
uh,
have no say in it.
and everyone. That's Minnie Robinson showing off the Human Lives Matter T-shirts. Um, but she is a registered libertarian. She did run for office as a libertarian, and she's also a constitutional activist, just like me. And I have big time respect for her for everything that she does for the tries to do for this country, and we gotta help her. But see, libertarians are kind of weird because they say we may be on the same team, but you're not my friend. And to me, that kind of divisiveness is what kills a party.
They have a good idea, and when you look at it from the broad picture, I leave you alone, you leave me alone, and guess what? We meet each other in public, we shake hands, yo, what up, brother? Kind of a thing like that. It's just a very, very difficult thing because people are craving power and they want to have some sort of, you know, thing to hold over somebody else where it's like in true libertarian fashion, you do you, I do me. We're cordial to each other in public as long as we do not mess with each other. And that's where the moral the compass comes into play because, again, abortion, you and I agree, life begins at conception. That's just me. That's just
Hmm.
you. But guess what? You're not going to change my mind. Nobody's changing your mind. But who are we? I mean, and I say we just as a generalization to tell somebody what they're allowed to think. And that's where I think the Libertarian Party kind of lost itself because we've said it. I know I've said it a bunch of times. Libertarians have turned into a bunch of Republicans who want to smoke pot and shoot machine guns. That's pretty much what it's come down to. And I do feel that the party has kind of lost its true meaning because they're very Republican on some aspects. They're very liberal on other aspects. And okay, well, none of you've never put forth a candidate that's going to make a difference or even have a chance at running. Like libertarians, any libertarians who are listening to this right now, I need you to, put the joint down, unload the machine gun, and just listen for a few seconds. I may say some bad words, but guess what? You're all about freedom of speech, so I don't care. What's going to happen if you want your party to succeed is You don't need to worry about the 2024 election. You don't need to worry about the 2028 election. You need to worry about elections after that. You need to get candidates who actually have some semblance of a personality that people might like. Start off with some memes. You know what? TikTok, for all the freak I care. Do something to get your name out there. Don't just show up 6 months before the primary and be like, I'm running as a libertarian. I like machine guns and marijuana. No, no. We want to know if we're willing to, quote, throw our vote away for you over something that's guaranteed in our favor. I need you, we need you to prove why you are better. And unfortunately, since 2007 ish, when I started paying attention to politics, you have not created a single person worth voting for. And you are so shitty at it. You couldn't even get Ron Paul, basically the person who put your party on the freaking planet, you couldn't get him into a primary election. So you failed. So do better. Because I
Well,
have hope. I have hope, but not that much.
well, we have one more party, and this is the one. This is the logo to the Constitution Party. And let me tell you, these guys, this party is great because I looked at the website. They quote the Constitution. They don't just spew that's unconstitutional or this is constitutional. They will actually quote the exact amendment, like with the abortion. I actually learned it's not just the 14th that says life, liberty, and property, not the pursuit of happiness, by the way, peeps, but it's property. But it's also the Fifth Amendment. It, like, I never saw that in the Fifth Amendment before I saw their website, which is pretty darn awesome. Um, and they will quote, and like they seem to have, study the Constitution and to be sure they align their values according to what the Constitution says. And this is like they say, and if you say something bad about them in the press, hey, they're gonna respect your rights to free speech, free press, free everything. So, and this is what we need, and we got to get more people involved in this because today the Constitution is not being taught in our schools, uh, and that's
Ah,
by design. They're not, and if it is being taught in the schools, they just say we have a piece of paper that says you have rights, but they don't teach what's in it. They don't teach the dynamics of it. And you'll probably say, well, there's law school. But people, not everyone needs to go. You don't need to go to law school. They just need to teach it from, from fourth grade on, or fifth, whatever. Maybe in junior high school. But we need, this party in.
they
As
they need
long
they need
as,
to be truthful about what the contents of that document are. And they
yeah,
need to make these kids understand that it's not rights given to me by the government. It's rights that were given to me at birth by something greater than the government. Also, the Constitution is not meant to limit me. It is meant to limit the government who is attempting to freaking tell me what I can or cannot do with my life, with my body, with my money, with how I decide to protect myself. It is limiting the government. So anytime I hear a leftist talk about Constitution, it's always about the government this, the government that. No, the government can F off, okay? And I will give them the bus ticket to F off to wherever they want to go. Because you do not tell me what to do. You are elected to represent me. And guess what? If there are more people that disagree with me, that vote against me, guess what? That is how this works. We are not a true democracy. We are a representative republic where I vote for a representative to represent my rights. Guess what? That representative then goes to the county, the state, Washington to argue on behalf of my rights. They're not doing that. And I don't care what party you belong to, they are looking out for themselves. They are looking out for their own job, their own career, and they could give a crap whether you live or die. As long as while you're living, you are paying taxes, your fair share. Why do you think they want to raise the minimum wage? It bumps you a tax bracket. You pay in more.
Oh,
Also, there's no law that states you can't give more money to the Treasury. If you feel guilty about not paying enough taxes, you can give them more.
Marty makes another good
Or
point.
you can go out there and you can take your fancy little leather-bound checkbook and you can cut a check to an animal shelter, to a homeless shelter, to a women in crisis shelter, to a something you want done within your community. There's nothing stopping you, because guess what? I'm not rich, but when I see something I really like, and I know my tax dollars are obviously not going to that cause, I get my checkbook out, I put my money where my mouth is, and I step up. And it's not a lot, but guess what? I can sit down and say, I feel good because I'm going to complain about this not being done, but I helped it get done. And even if it never gets done, I know my mind, my heart, my soul was in the right place. No, I'm not. Well, my neighbor, okay, over there, that guy, yeah, rich as shit. Like, I love that guy. What am I supposed to do? Hey, sir, this cat shelter is overwhelmed with animals to take care of right now. So I'm gonna need you to write a check so I can feel good about myself. And he would say, well, why don't you write a check? Well, I don't want to. I want you to do it. And then I'm gonna say that I made you do it, and then I feel good about it. No, just Quinn, everybody wants gratification so they can say, oh, I agree with that. And they're walking away from it and saying, I did this. No, you did freaking nothing. You allowed your government to steal money from somebody else who earned it, who could have taken that same exact amount of money that the government stole from them and done actual good with. Because trickle down, Mr. Ronald Reagan, it's more effective in the government because we say $1 billion. By the time the project actually gets the funding to do so, it's down to a couple $100,000.
You know something? It's funny. Now Marty here says citizens are not subjects in this republic. And that's
I agree.
absolutely right.
I agree. And that's how it should be.
And you know the funny thing about this is when you said trickle down, when you're giving from from billionaires to the government, it doesn't come down at all to us. We may get breadcrumbs of it, but we're not getting much out of it if we go on government assistance, unless if we're illegal aliens these days. But
I'm not criticizing trickle down because I've never worked for a poor person. But when it comes to look at so any product you buy, okay, let's just say Quinn, what are we buying tonight? What's something we need to survive that we're gonna buy?
Food.
Okay,
even though all the food in the supermarkets are poison.
Well, let's talk about actual non-GMO farm grown food. If I go down the street and I buy a bushel of corn from the farmer who grew it, what's that going to cost me? Next to nothing. He's going to sell that corn to me at what is technically wholesale, because that's what he's selling it to the distributor, who then sends it to the grocery store, who then passes it on to the final consumer. Every step and every person that product goes through is essentially taxed because, well, the farmer sells it wholesale. He's just hoping to, break even. Then it goes to a distributor. All right, well, I distributed this, so I want my cut. Then it goes to the grocery store. Well, I stored it and I sold it. I want my cut. And it just then and then. So by the time it finally gets to that end consumer, if that farmer got retail value for the crop that he grew, he'd be a freaking millionaire. And he, well, probably wouldn't farm, or at least have a tractor with air conditioning, and I feel they deserve that. Why is it that the people who do the hardest work get shit on the most? Why is it that, we're going to tax these people? Look, I'm not pro rich people. I'm not going to say rich people do not take advantage of people. It's just human nature. It's human nature to take advantage of, not human nature. It's animal instinct to take advantage of things, people, similar things that are less, capable of sticking up for themselves than you. And it goes back to, like we were saying pre-show about, college loans. You put these kids in this position where you'll give them $150,000 loan with nothing to even repossess if they don't make the payment. But yet, if you want to start a business or buy a house, no.
Well,
but if I don't pay my bill, you can come take it back. No, you should probably just go to college, study claymation.
Well, you know what? There's one more thing in politics in the parties, since we only have like 8-9 minutes left.
This is America. We have as many minutes. Oh no, Quinn. This is America. We have as many minutes as you decide.
Well,
this is your show. If you want to go for 2 hours, we'll do it.
Well, I like to keep it an hour long, But anyway, I want to talk about the independents really quick. What do you think about Kennedy Jr. running for president? He left the Democratic Party, or I think they kicked him out. One of the two.
They kicked him out.
And okay, I did hear that.
That's the biggest problem that I have.
And so, what do you think about him as running? And the people in the and the people on Rumble, feel free to voice your opinions on anything we say.
Let me talk about Robert Kennedy. Robert Kennedy is a fantastic Democrat. He is an old school Democrat. He takes after the family. And I feel as a Democratic opponent to Donald Trump, he would have been at least comparable. He can put a sentence together. He has beliefs that I may not agree with, but at the same time, he has his own beliefs. He's not just spewing political rhetoric. That is something where I do respect him for. And the fact that the Democratic Party felt that he was so much of a threat that they removed him from Democratic ballots to enforce him to run as an independent, that just shows how corrupt our political system is. No different than the fact that when I went to vote during the primary, why was Nikki Haley on the ballot after she dropped out of the race? Why was that? Oh, political grandstanding? Was it potentially to force Donald Trump into a runoff? Because we all know 22.2% turnout in Northampton County, her, handful of votes may have been enough to turn it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to vote for somebody who's no longer running. You gave up. You quit. So why would I waste my vote on somebody who already gave up? And I'm supposed to trust you to run this country and not just be like, I'm tired. I give up. No, you suck. You suck. You knew it. You ran out of money, so you gave up. But somehow your name still appeared on that ballot. And I'll tell you what, out of everything that happened on that day, that was probably the most irritating thing I experienced. Was like, why is your name in front of my freaking face?
And I totally agree with that. And Kennedy is definitely, in my personal opinion, based on the few facts that I know isn't as bad as the corrupted Democrats of today, because he's pretty much, like you said, he's more mild than anything. He fought for the First Amendment rights to be able to get the truth out against the vaccine mandates, which I thought was kind of cool. Um,
It
we're not
shocked
going to
me.
agree on everything for sure. Eh, um, it, so
Like I said, I
yeah.
think he would have been a good Democrat. I think he would have been a fantastic Democratic candidate. I mean, honestly, right now, I want to see him and Nikki Haley debate because you know what, Haley,
Oh,
if you're watching, if anybody's watching for Haley, change to independent.
Kennedy wants to debate Donald Trump, and that should
I
be interesting.
I want to see all three of them go at it. I think we the people deserve that because he's leading in a party. He's got enough percentage, in my opinion, that he deserves to be on that stage.
Oh, why not all five candidates? Kennedy, Trump, Lois Mapstead. Um, let's see. The Constitution Party has Terry Randall or Randall Terry. I forget two first names. It's so confusing sometimes.
You got to watch
Uh,
NASCAR. No, you got to watch NASCAR more. You'll get used to the whole two first name thing.
yeah,
It's totally normal at that point.
Terry Randall, it's either
NASCAR.
Terry Randall or Randall Terry, in that order. That's running for the Constitution Party, and
I
then
feel I
just for giggles, just put Joe Biden on. I mean, we all know he'll give us a good laugh because we all know he won't win. And speaking of which, since I only have a few minutes left, I want to show the audience something I've been saving this whole show, and I think they're gonna like this meme that I shown you all ahead of time.
Oh yeah. This is glorious.
So it says, so here's my little meme, and I'm sorry I can't make any bigger, but it says here, Biden said, if we don't vote for him, we ain't black. So, and it says, so I put in, we are not voting for Biden. What color are we? Now, this was done with permission of the couple because they escaped the Democratic plantation. And we actually had a podcast between me and them, which was awesome. Do check out some of the other videos between me and my new co-host, and also between my interview with this wonderful couple. Um, but yeah, this. So to this day, I want to know what color are what color are my two new friends? Because they're not voting for Biden.
They're free thinking Americans, and that's really all that matters. They're doing what they want. They're doing what they feel is correct, and that's where we need to just freaking leave it be. I'm not going to pick on them. I can't pick on them because I agree with them. But let's just say I disagree with them. They are living their life the way they feel they need to live it. And it's not affecting me. It's not affecting you. And it's not affecting anybody else. And if we want to sit here and play the mind control game and say, nope, if you have this feeling, you're a bad person, that's bad. And I'm going to quote Ron Paul again. We do not have the First Amendment to talk about the weather. We have the First Amendment to talk about very controversial things.
Wendell Terry. Thank you, Marty, for that. So we are out of time, everyone. And we thank you for being on the show. And thank you, Marty, for the comments in the live chat. We hope to bring more people on to here. Not and next week, I think I have a very interesting topic that will scare the heck out of, that should scare every American in existence. Um, so we thank you for joining us, and you all have a great week.
I want to say one thing real quick
Okay.
right before we do the outro here. So if you guys have watched this before, and if you haven't, I'm Johnny. I'm 37. I work on cars for a living. I love what I do. Apparently, late in life, recently in life, I learned that I have autism. So if you ever see me go on my little rants, that's the thing. So one of the fun things that Quinn and I have decided is that I have no idea what we're talking about until about an hour and a half most before we have these podcasts. So anything that comes out of my stupid brain, literally, he knows I want to be put on the spot. I want to be as genuine as possible. He's got a topic. He may have a script. He may not. We don't talk about that. I just get the text message at 5:30. Hey, we're talking about this tonight. And I'm like, all right, let's go. I get home, feed the cats. We talk. Hopefully we entertain you guys. Maybe we, do some big brain things. Realistically, we're just here to bring everybody together and find out what is it that we need to do where we agree, disagree, find that middle ground, and just can we do something to stop arguing with each other and actually focus on, I don't know, the people who are suffering and what do we need to do to help them, stop suffering. None of this back and forth crap. I know I'm on a tism rant right now, so I'm sorry, but I'm not. I want everybody in this country, in this world, to live their best life. I don't want anybody to be oppressed. I do not want anybody to feel that they don't belong. We need to just come together, shake hands. You know what? Let's have a barbecue, all of us, the entire world. All what are we up to now, Quinn? 8 billion people.
Basically, I
Could
mean,
you
I'm
imagine?
losing track every 5 seconds
But
because
could
it
you? But
because people are born, people are dying, so
but
it's like
could you imagine all the people on Earth having one party? Just imagine if it was something where we could come together in a park somewhere, have a potluck barbecue. Everybody brings something from their culture. I'm a firm believer. I'm a fat kid at heart. I think if we all just ate each other's food, that would solve a whole lot of problems right out the gate. At bare minimum, it would get us talking. It would, at least open the gate for us to have some conversation to somehow figuring out a way to, well, one, tell the government to, oh, wait, we're over an hour now. I get a second F word pass. Tell the government to go fuck itself. We do not serve you. You are here to do one thing and one thing only. Keep us Americans safe. That's it. Not someone else, not somewhere else. Here. Take care of the people who you represent. If they do not vote for you or cannot vote for you, they are not your problem. That is it. Hey, Quinn, happy Tuesday. Another fun podcast. I love doing this. I'm so happy that you pulled me into this. I'm just gonna keep yapping. I'm sorry. I'm not on drugs. I swear I'm not on drugs. It's just beer and cat hair.
all right. Well, everyone, you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next Tuesday at 7. And please tell people about us, and of course, get a Human Lives Matter T-shirt from my website. I do properly get them shipped out at ASAP. So
I can full on believe that within the next business day they are shipped.
So there you go, because he bought 5 of my shirts, and that was awesome. So you all have a good night and have a wonderful week, and hopefully, uh, we get. Hopefully, we'll see you in the comments, expressing your opinions. Don't be shy and have fun. Later.
Have a good week, guys. Thanks for joining in.